Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to RVCCIS.Info, the channel where faculty representatives from Rock Valley College's Computers and Information Systems Department talk to you, the students or community at large, about things, roughly speaking, having to do with computers and information systems. Today, we'll go a little deeper into what we started last time with where to find a job during a pandemic. And today we'll talk a little bit about references for those jobs. Go for it.
Yeah, so Eric and I have had a few students that have emailed us lately, well, or not emailed us lately. So the most important thing is contact the person that you want to use as a reference, whether it's an instructor or somebody you worked with or a former supervisor. You need to let them know that you're looking for a job and that they might be contacted. The other thing that you want to get is their contact information. Don't guess on the contact information. Use their contact information. If you do not I can tell you from personal experience, Eric can tell you too, if we are not contacted, it throws us off and you may not get the reference that you want or
Right.
a reference
We're
at all.
we're we're mind readers maybe, but not magicians. Like if all of a sudden from NIU or some school, a recommendation request comes through and I don't know what it's for, it makes it really hard to fill one out, right? So always let your instructor know.
Yeah. And sending like a resume along with, you ask, and then of course, they'll send their information back. But then I had somebody that asked for a reference and then she sent her whole resume and everything just to kind of like, hey, this is what I've done in the past. You
Mm-hmm.
might help with
Yeah,
the,
which is really helpful. Yeah.
yeah. And then what job you're actually exactly looking for. Because, Eric and I teach all sorts of classes and we're not exactly sure what industry or whether you're in programming or web design, or if you're in health or finance,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
And one of the things you, as the job applicant, absolutely want to do is remember that even just, and this is a technical thing, but even if you just include the name of the company and the position title, that always helps you in the algorithms for search before those resumes, before those references even get through to a human reader. It's one of those tricks that you always see in job search strategies is include the name of the company and the name of the position, and that goes through to the reference letter that you request. So absolutely pass those things along because it helps us tailor those references towards your exact posting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of just giving out a blanket reference letter. I want to send it somewhere
Mm-hmm.
specific.
Right. Give us enough time. I would say that's
Yes.
also beneficial. I have had uh, probably no fewer than 1,000 people say, I need this letter by Friday. And I'll be like, it's Thursday. And that doesn't give you a lot of time to come up with a lot of flourishes on why it is that you're a spectacular candidate. So don't give us too much time. Like I need one of these letters in July of 2024.
Mhm.
That's too much time. But at least a week, but preferably 1 to 2 weeks is like the soft or the sweet rather spot
Yeah.
for how long it should take somebody to be able to get to you, comfortably get back to you a recommendation letter.
Yeah, if you tell me like it's months down the road, I will forget to do it. I'm going to
Yep.
be honest. But in a week or
Immediately.
two, yeah, in a week
Yeah.
or two, that's on my to-do list to get done fairly
Mm-hmm.
soon. So,
If there's a job posting with it, I think that that's always helpful to know exactly what it is that you're applying for, because that way, as the instructor, we can go, okay, yeah, I've seen you do this in the classroom, or we've talked about you doing these things, in whatever your previous job was. So that really helps us tailor that letter towards you and the company you're applying to, as opposed to just a generic recommendation letter. That's always helpful.
yeah, the more we can tailor it, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And if we know the person, sometimes that, sometimes we do know the person that's
Yep.
the letter is being sent to. So, and I know sometimes especially if you go through myrvc.org and one of us knows the person and we've had you in class, we'll email the person directly on top of giving you the reference letter.
Right, right. Because, that silly old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That works out so many more times than you would think is practical. So absolutely do try and let us leverage our contacts for you when you go out there and look for work.
Yep. Yeah.
Anything else we can think of?
I don't think so.
Format, maybe. One time, this has only happened a couple of times. I almost always send back recommendation letters as PDFs. It's not that I don't trust you all. It's just that I have no reason to trust you all. So rather than give you a Word document that later on I find out like I said all these things that I didn't mean to say. So I always send them as a PDF, and it's only happened a couple of times where the format specification for the job posting said as a Word document, which is crazy but true. It's through a recruiter, and those things happen. So always let the instructor know what the format they require it back in is, because I would hate for that stuff to happen again.
Yeah, and I generally do PDF because Word, you
Mm-hmm.
never know how
No,
you don't know how the
that's
format is going to end up in the end, or
right. That's
I just
way too risky.
yeah, especially if I'm using RVC letterhead on an
Right.
electronic format.
RVC has wonderful, thick, barred letterhead. You get this little, which is, honestly, sometimes it comes in our advantage because we get just such a little chunk of text that we can put between the two big fat header and footer parts, but sometimes it's a pain. So,
Yep. So, yeah, I think that's probably about it. So it was email your reference to double check, make sure that they will be a reference,
right.
and let them know that you're on the job search. Tell them, maybe even send them a resume. Tell
Mm-hmm.
them what job, maybe even send them the job description or job posting, and format, and the format that you're going to have, that you're going to want the document in.
Yep.
I think that sums it up.
There you go. While you are getting all of those documents together, why don't you go ahead and leave us a comment down below while you're down there, leaving comments on things like whether or not you've had success with any of us leaving you a recommendation letter. If you've had any horror stories for recommendation letters, I try to help you guys avoid those. I know Stephanie does the same thing. So if we get a new horror story, we'll try and bake that into our rationale for the next poor SOB that needs one. So leave us a comment below while you're down there. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified of new content. We're trying to get back on our regularly scheduled Tuesday, Thursday intervals here. It looks like we might be able to make this one too. While you're feeling social, you can also find us on all of our channels. You can find us at Twitter and Facebook at RVCCIS.Info. You can find us on anchor.fm for our podcast, which is this without video. You can find that at anchor.fm/RVCCIS.Info. Clearly, you can find us here on YouTube, RVCCIS.Info or RVCCIS.Info. Either comes up in the search results. You can also find us at RVCCIS.Info on the web. I feel like we are adding more websites all the time here. All of those can be found in the description below. And you can always look to myrvc.org for all of our job postings. So on behalf of wrong side, wait, no, this way. God, I'm bad at this today. Stephanie Washer, that's me, Eric Wolf, Jim Conley, Chuck Conkle, the rest of the RVC community. Stay safe and stay sane out there, everybody.